Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Listen, big news just popped. It is confirmed Cadillac have their drivers for the 2026 season. And when I say that this was, if you remember on the last video, we ran through a few scenarios, three scenarios exactly. My first scenario was the comfort and consistent driver pairing would be what's up, Baraka, would be Bottas and Perez to give you two very well experienced drivers, two drivers that have driven both for championship bred teams, two drivers that have been both in the top five consistently throughout their time with those teams, and two drivers that are very knowledgeable about dealing and being and operating within teams of championship series. The other driver pairing that I gave you was a moderate with not so much of a rookie, but it would have been a sophomore or a junior, exact to be honest, and that would have been Valtteri and Felipe Drugovich. And then the most wild and high, maybe high ceiling, but could be a bust type pairing would have been Valtteri with a rookie. But I am very pleased to see, although I will say, with Cadillac being to me the most pure American team on the grid, I was really hoping to see maybe one of those drivers be an American driver, but maybe Logan Sargent just completely messed that up for all American drivers. And to be honest, I think Cadillac may have thought about the downfall to at this point in time in their program to having a rookie driver that could be a boom or bust driver. So big shout out Baraka, Lord Chaos, Chef is in here, Oscar's in here, Incredible Facts Quest. And so with the hey man, don't y'all start that go dog shit in here this early, man. Don't y'all start that in here this early. Y'all get that go dog shit out of here this early, man. As I back to what I was saying before I was started having fun with my boys in there. I would just say that this is a very solid pairing for Cadillac and for many reasons. They already have a lot of work in front of them. What's up, Mary Beanie and Just Sean? And with a lot of work in front of them, there are some things that they don't want to be concerned about. There are some things that you would hope to not be concerned about. And that is, are your drivers limiting your ability to see what your development can really bring you? And that's a very crucial point in any program, especially if we're going to be talking about a program that is just starting out in Formula One. There are going to be many hurdles, there are going to be many challenges. They're not just going to come on the grid and just wipe the floor with all of the teams that have been in here that this long. So, with this driver pairing, Cadillac made a very clear, decisive, and I think a valid decision doing this. And I absolutely love to see, I don't want to say love because I don't like to say I love anything that can't love me back, but I absolutely am eager and I like to see that it is Sergio Perez, somebody who was put out of Red Bull prematurely. I think somebody that at the end of the day didn't get fair and equal treatment throughout the season, somebody that was ridiculed, somebody that was disrespected by key people in the actual team, somebody who was paired with a teammate that was actually a jackass and was not a team player, threw a temper tantrum on track, on radio airwaves for us all to hear. And I think exited Formula One before it was really time. Now, I know Sergio, he got some fair and valid criticism, maybe for his performance in a car that a lot of people deemed was the most dominant car in Formula One history. But let's not get it twisted. Sergio Perez was up against the same battle that any other driver that is the number two driver in Red Bull had to go up against. And that's driving a car that is so completely max centric, you do not find your way in there. And let's also not forget, there was a portion of a season where Perez was on rails and performing well in a car at that point in time before updates were made, facilitated his driving style a bit more. Okay. Almost to the point there was a 6 point difference going into Miami, I believe, where he was going to be the first, I think, the first Mexican driver to lead the championship series until they updated the car, changed it. It became more Max centric, and he lost that. And don't forget, Max was kind of underperforming in basically an understeering car. So it's not like Perez doesn't have the ability. It's not like Perez doesn't have the skill. It's not like Perez doesn't have the knowledge. He has all of that. He just needs to be in a car that's not going to be Max centric, just like any of the other number two drivers that are in that car. It is a known and common problem. And for people to ignore that and pretty much downgrade Perez as if he's a can of shit is utterly kind of ridiculous. It is. All right. And then let's not forget on the other side now, we have Valtteri Bottas, somebody who was teamed up, who has been very respectful when it comes to his driver, Lewis Hamilton, and has driven in a championship car just like Perez. So Cadillac right here, and Valtteri has been also, let's not forget that, some people have made criticisms to the fact that they need to reach out and get into the Ferrari drivers pool of things instead of Valtteri. But I think they discount the few years that Valtteri spent with the Ferrari power units in Alfa Romeo and Kick Sauber to bring that knowledge over to Cadillac. So now they automatically have a driver who is well diverse, well experienced, has driven championship competitive pedigree cars, who's driven and operated Ferrari power unit cars. They're going to have a Ferrari power unit. So now they have that wealth of experience and knowledge to tap into, as well as these two drivers being very fundamental in the development process throughout the season. I think that this is going to be a very good situation. And if it's not even very good, I'm not even saying let's say it's very good as far as, they just going to come out and win a championship. Big shout out to Paul in the super chat. Happy Tuesday, fam. It's race week. Hope everyone is safe week. Smash the like button. Peace and love. Thank you for putting the grudge race on. Thank you, bro, for participating. And that reminds me, I did say that don't be surprised if this news pops this week. You know how it absolutely works. Peace and love to my brother, Paul. So Cadillac is in the right direction. Now it's going to be about competing with the rest of the dogs in the track. Really. It's going to be about how efficiently and quickly can they get their feet underneath them to make a good run in their rookie season. And let's not be unrealistic, okay? Let's not be unrealistic. I was going to come up with a word that was just completely more, maybe it would have been a bit disrespectful. Let's not be unrealistic. I would think that a successful season is not finishing last. That's a successful season, your first rookie season as a new team, new drivers to your team, new team developing on the grid in real time throughout the course of a season in a new era of regulations that can be said to be the most complex and biggest era regulations change, one of at least. Not finishing last is a plus. Not finishing dead last, 10th, is a plus. If you can beat out other teams, even teams that we consider backmarker, that have been competing in Formula One for years now, that's a success. That is a successful season. That's a plus in that season. Now, can you carry it over to the next season where regulations should be about the same, minus some little changes, maybe wrinkles here and there, and can you add to that? Now, can you become one of the dominant teams in the midfield battle? As close as this battle is right now in this era, I don't know what's going to happen next era, how those tenths might grow to seconds. But right now in this era, can you come the next year, 2027, and be one of the competitive midfield teams? That's success. Hey, beat out Haas. Beat out Audi. Beat out Audi when they come. That's successful to me. That's a successful season. I'm not going to say it's successful. It's a successful season in its compartmentalized state. That is what I will say. So Cadillac have done an excellent job with this. I think in the numbers, glad to see them. And as we sit right here, I will bring this on screen right now for us all to take a look at. And let's look at right here. All right, so let's check this out. As it sits, it says August 26th, which is today, 2025, in India, Silverstone, UK. The Cadillac Formula team today announced the signing of two star drivers, 10-time Grand Prix winner Valtteri Bottas and fellow F1 standout 6-time Grand Prix winner Sergio Checo Perez. All right. Together, Bottas and Perez bring an unmatched blend of experience, like I was just saying, leadership and technical acumen, which I also hinted in the video that if you were here yesterday, I think it was yesterday we did the video, or the day before we were talking about that. Positioning the Cadillac Formula One team to hit the ground running as it joins the world's most elite racing series. All right. Big shout out to Incredible Facts Quest in the super chat says, "Good morning, fam. And I want to thank you so much for the top trading cards." Hey, big shout out. I'm glad you got them, bro. I'm going to post them. I've just been so pretty busy with my kids, but thank you. I love you guys. Yo, much love to you too. And I would love to see, I would absolutely like to see what you got out of there. Definitely post that in the Discord. So as we get back down here, it also says 500 combined Grand Prix starts and over 100 podiums. From the moment I began speaking with the Cadillac Formula One team, I felt something different, says Valtteri. Something ambitious, but I also grounded, said Bottas. This isn't just a racing project, it's a long-term vision. It's not every day you get a chance to be a part of something being built from the ground up and helping shape it. And that to me is a very big selling point, I think, for both of these drivers, right? To come into this is as fresh of a start as you can get as a driver. This is as fresh as a start as you can get. And not only is it as fresh of a start, it's a pretty damn good start because this is going to be regarded as America's true team in Formula One. Now, Americans, if I go around and ask, do you know that there's a Formula One team in America? They're going to say Cadillac. They're going to say GM. A lot of people aren't considering us. I could go out today and ask about 50 Americans on the street, are you aware of the Formula One team that represents America? And they're probably going to say no. They're probably going to say no. I would bet that I'll get more no's than I would get yes. Over 50% will say no. So this is as good as a start. This is a fresh start for two drivers that probably have felt a bit held back in some regard to the number one driver, whether that be Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen. And now they have an opportunity not only to work together, but to see who's going to flourish as the number one, have a healthy, competitive debate inside of the team without it being toxic. And I like that for them. So listen, I got to do this, and then I got to get to some things that I got to take care of. So here we go right here. It says I've had the honor of working with some of the best teams in the world, and I can already see some professionalism and hunger here. This is an iconic brand with big legacy in American motorsports. Perez added, joining the Cadillac team is an incredibly exciting new chapter in my career. For our first conversation, I could sense the passion and determination behind the project. It's an honor to be part of the building team developing together so that in time we will fight at the very front. I do hope that happens. Backed by TWG Motorsports and General Motors, the Cadillac Formula One team. Now, I'm pretty sure at some point in time they wanted this to say Andretti Motorsports, but it didn't happen. All right. That didn't happen. At some point in time, there was a fight for this to say Andretti Motorsports, but I do like this part right here. The team will operate out of 3 key motorsport hubs: Fisher, Indiana, Charlotte, North Carolina. That means kick Haas the hell out. Kick them out. Haas operates in North Carolina. Supposedly their headquarters. They kick them out. Get their ass out of there. I'm all for Barack in the super chat says, new name, Resident Haas Toyota GR, Cadillac, what the F is a... Max Verstappen, Ham, and Yuki fan. Glad that both Ford and GM are in F1. Bring in the Dodge for the chaos. I'm going to say this. Ford is like a surrogate baby right now, right? Ford is participating. Ford is contributing to a team that is participating in Formula One by way of some power unit components. They're not competing on the level. They're not participating on the level that General Motors is. Toyota is a bit more above where Ford is going to be to me with the team Haas. I could actually see that if some things go a bit different, Toyota could actually take over the Haas livery and actually look like Toyota is in Formula One. I have a bit more trust in that than I do for Ford at Red Bull. But Cadillac GM is legitimately in Formula One. Legitimately in Formula One on the grid, and it's exciting. Now, I'm really going to wait to see how many years or how many seasons it takes for them to get their own power unit. And we will see when and if that ever does happen. But small steps, baby steps, start walking, then start running. So that's going to be iconic, and I believe this 2026 season is starting to form up as a very interesting season. All right. So big shout out to you all pulling up for the live stream. This is exciting news. I'm sure we're going to hear more developments. Contracts are going to be asked and debated, and money and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, I think Cadillac made a very sound and beneficial decision to their program. And this was the first option that I talked about in the video before. And evidently, they saw and felt that this was the best option for them. So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to see Ford in here as big as Cadillac because it's found on road dead. And I don't know about Dodge, Chrysler being in as well, unless it's by the SRT brand name. And we could kind of see what that is. So we'll see where that goes. But until now, Cadillac drivers up 2026 is coming. Peace.